I was expecting you. Come in. You've arrived just in time. I was just about to commence today's episode. Welcome to Tabletop Talk, where we talk about the most popular games of the week and how to play them, as well as explore local events around the area. You're in for a real treat. Did you know that different types of dice have different types of rolls, and there's even a technique to it? Stay a while, have a short rest, and find out. We introduce to you today the Settlers of Catan, where, as it says, you can find, trade, build, and settle, where the goal is to reach 10 victory points by having the most settlements, as well as other achievements, like having the longest road and largest army. Although at its base, it's a 4-player game, you can also get an expansion and up the count to 6 players, and even go to the sea with seafarers, deal with swashbuckling pirates, with explorers and pirates, and more. Hey, quickly, just before we get to the gameplay, here's how to set it up. Create the frame with the blue pieces. They should easily click into place. Then arrange the land hex tiles in any order you like. Then proceed to place the number tokens on each hex, going in a counterclockwise motion in alphabetical order. Look for the letters. The rubber pawn starts in the desert, which we usually like to place in the middle. Each player can choose a color each and should start with 5 settlements, 4 cities, and 15 roads in that chosen color. Players also start with a building cost card, just to remind them of what cards they need to build further structures. To start the game, each player begins with 2 roads and 2 settlements on the board. You can choose wherever to put them along the edges of the hex. Take it in turns. Now you're ready to play. Let's get into it. Before we start, these are the cards you can have. You can take 1 card each of the surrounding hexes of your settlements. The first phase is rolling 2 6-sided dice. The result applies to everyone and whatever number that it correlates to, a number on the board. Any settlement on a hex with that number can take 1 resource card that number is on. However, if you roll a 7, the player may move the rubber to a number on the board. This stops players touching that hex from getting any resource from there. You may also steal 1 resource from 1 player adjacent to that rubber. Any player that also has more than 7 resources has to return half to the piles. On your turn, you may build something with your materials according to the cost card. However, you need 2 roads between each settlement and city. You can only build a city if you have a settlement there. For trading, there's domestic and maritime. Domestic is between any player and can belong on their terms. Maritime trading are the ships along the edges. As long as you have a settlement or city next to them, you can exchange cards according to their ratio. And you can find Catan today at your nearest board game store and start settling now. In the world of role-playing, one thing you'll always find in one's bag are dice. Now, dice come in all types of textures and materials, and they roll differently. But let us find out more. I'd like to welcome dice specialist Liam Murphy to the table. Greetings, Liam.
Hi, Alan. How are you going there?
Good. How are you, sir?
Not too bad.
Good.
Now, I've actually brought some dice with me today as well.
There you are.
It's been a little bit convenient there.
Let's take a look. You have a handful there already.
Oh, look, we can't have too much.
Fair enough. Well, what can you tell us? What do you have in store for us today with these dice?
Well, essentially, dice are your saviors. You're basically everything to you.
Okay.
They determine who you are, what you do. Well, that's up to you. How well you do it, mainly, I should say, is the big thing. And yeah, mainly if you're going to succeed or not.
Right, excellent. And so what kind of dice are people expected to have?
So you've got your classic types like your acrylic, basically. That's kind of your cheapest set. Now, then you got one step, you've got something like your resin dice, bit of a sharper edge. And you go one step higher and you've got metal. You got to be careful not to chip the table there. As long as you've got a set of 7, essentially, you're good.
Okay, so 7 is the recommended amount you should have, is that right?
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
That basically covers each individual type of dice that you could possibly need.
Okay, cool. So is there a limit to the amount of dice you can have?
Of course not. No, generally every character we get, probably 1 set. Call it 4, realistically, maybe 5 or 6. Per character.
Wow, okay.
Look, we're making a few of those generally. No, we can never have enough.
Interesting. How many do you have when you play?
I would generally bring at least 50 with me. Now, of different types and colors. Sometimes I'll bring the full set, which is over 300, depending on the scenario and how long we're playing for. But that's rare.
Wow. So this question, I don't mean to get a little superstitious here, but the dice curse, what does that mean?
That's not superstition.
Okay.
That's real.
That's real? Okay. There you
dice have personalities. So don't annoy them, basically, or they will roll low for you. Look, if you've been nice to them, you give a little bit of a blessing, maybe.
Okay.
We should hopefully see some high numbers.
Excellent. Well, So is there a technique to rolling each die specifically, or?
Look, generally, anytime I pick up one more, just give it a little roll, a little bit of a blow as well, and see what we get.
And hope for the best, I see.
Yeah,
There we
pretty
are.
much.
So there's no skipping a rock across the pond technique, just hope for the best every time.
I generally bring a tray. As long as it's in the tray, it's in the tray.
Well, so if you were to say roll a random number, let's say a 6, what could that get you?
6, I'm not expecting much from a 6.
Okay.
Well, on the D20s at least, the main one. Obviously 20 sides, 1 through 20.
Mhm.
So 6, yeah, 6 is quite low. Honestly, I would expect to fail most things on that. If I'm trying to rob someone or look for something, probably not going to be able to do it, to be honest.
Not too much, right. And when you mentioned before a D20 die, so that means numbers 1 through 20 are scaled on the dice?
Yeah, correct.
Right, and the higher the number, the better your chances, is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Yep.
well, there you go. Well, what can I say? That does sound fun indeed. Liam, thank you very much for coming on the show.
No worries. Thank you, Alan.
Who knew that so much could go on with these small, roundish dice? Now, speaking of dice and nerds, where can you find them? Well, if you ever want to geek out about board games and Dungeons and Dragons, check this next bit out. Looking for a place to play board games, Dungeons and Dragons, or meet like-minded people, then Deakin Tabletop Society is where it's at. A non-for-profit club run solely by students of the university. Students from all around gather here on Monday evenings to play games, chat, and eat pizza. Anyone can join the club. You don't even need to attend Deakin University to become a member. I'm standing in here. The ambience of the room is such a good feeling. You got lots of students here playing all sorts of things. You got Magic the Gathering, Jenga, Here to Slay, and the large selection of games you can find in these tubs. My personal favorite is the Aussie Monopoly. Also in this club, the occasional one-shot is played in other rooms they have booked. A one-shot is a story run by a game master that can last up to 6 hours with about 3 to 4 players which can attend these. And these one-shots can be of any role-playing system. There's heaps of them. This one is Monster Hearts, a romance system. Wow, that certainly seems fun to play. As you can see, the Deakin Tabletop community is very inclusive. It's such a good place to hang around with friends. What an exciting group of people. And so know, once you buy a member ticket, attendance is free for every Monday for the rest of each trimester per year. It's a great deal if you ask me. Now we're getting close to the end of the program, and I'm sure you guys are buzzing to get your own Catan board game, but there is one more thing I have in store for you. Here, if you're new to Dungeons and Dragons and have no idea where to start on character building, check out the Player's Handbook. It has everything a player needs to know about character creation, goes in depth about classes, races, and spells. You could be a chaotic neutral, half-elf barbarian, or lawfully good terrifying sorcerer, or even a gnome wizard. Any character you want to play can be found in this book. You can find it at your nearest board game store or online. And that's it. It's getting late, and you're due for your long rest. I gotta say, it was fun having you around, and I hope you enjoyed your stay. I hope to see you again. Until next time, have fun.